Hey everyone, it's Rob the Backyard Gardener here, and it's been way too long since I've given you an update on the pear trees grown from seed. They were sown July 10th, 2016, so we're looking at 21 and a half months now. I think my last update was almost 8 months ago, so I apologize for that. You know, it's been a struggle with these pear trees grown from seed. I have them in 3 different sections of the yard, trying to hedge my bets. They just don't do very well. Matter of fact, even my several-year-old Bartlett and Orient pear trees didn't flower this year. So I don't know what's going on with them, but wanted to get you at least an update now. So let me go ahead and start off with the weakest of the 3 that I've grown from seed, and these are D'Anjou variety. And then I'll take you over to one that I've directly transplanted into the ground where I had the dying apple tree, if you're following my apple tree series. And then I'll take you to the one that's doing the best, I guess. He doesn't look that great as far as his canopy and the way that he's shaped, but he's growing tall and it looks like he's starting to recover pretty well. Let's start off with the weak one. All right, guys, so this is the one that you've seen. This was where I had the thorn blackberry bush, and I've got another thornless variety growing, but I've tried to trim up most of the blackberry bush, see if this guy can get more nutrients. I fertilized. You can see, though, his leaves, they don't look that great. And he has branched off, and I've left him there, but his trunk is really thin and weak. Let me zoom in on this. His trunk is really thin and really weak. It's just driving me crazy. He's not putting much size on. He did shed his leaves in the winter, and he has resprouted here or grown his leaves back since the winter, but he's just not very healthy. His leaves are curled. I've inspected for pests. There's really no pests on him. He's just not doing well. Now, I've got to do a better job of weeding, as you can see. And see, most fruit trees are top soil level feeders. In other words, they grab most of their nutrients in the top few inches of the soil. And so I think what I need to do is really just come in here and de-weed the heck out of this, put some gloves on, take all this out of here, maybe lay some mulch down, add a little bit more fertilizer, and continue to keep him watered. But he's not doing the best. But when you grow from store-bought fruit and take the seeds out, you're gonna get some kind of hybrid or variety, so you never know how well they'll adapt. So definitely not doing that great. He's about 3.5 feet tall right here. So this is a 30-inch tomato cage. And he's a little bit above that. Obviously it's in the ground a little bit. But anyway, I wanted to give you an update on him. Let me go ahead and show you the second one that I've transplanted where the dying apple tree was. So here's my second one. This is the one that was in the pot next to the larger one. And I had an apple tree here, but the rabbits had eaten away most of his trunk and he perished. So because he died, I went ahead and used the existing spot here. I put a little bit of a protection from any gnawing away at his trunk with a little plastic water bottle. This guy, same as the other one, he's branched off into several little branches down here. And I do want to keep this guy kind of a low profile. So I'm going to just allow him to branch out at the 1.5 foot mark. You can see, same thing, leaves don't look the healthiest on these guys, and I don't get it. But I'll tell you, since I planted them over here, his new leaves and his new growth looks a lot better. So I'm thinking he's happy on this side of the yard. Again, he's about 3.5 feet as well. His trunk is quite a bit thicker than the other one, I'd say by 50%. So I'm thinking he'll do a lot better on this side of the yard. The soil here does well for my apple trees, or it did well for my apple trees. So I'm thinking he'll benefit from this new spot. Also, pear trees don't love a ton of direct sunlight all day. He gets about 8 hours, and then he gets this shaded sunlight like he gets right now for the second half of the day. So since he's been over here, he's put on about 6 inches of height, good growth. You can see where he's grown from the top at. So he's done really well. I'm pretty pleased with the progress of this second D'Anjou pear grown from seed. Now let me take you over to the largest one and give you an update on him. Okay guys, here's the larger one, and I'll show you what he looks like. His trunk actually is the thickest, so he's almost twice as thick as the other one. He has struggled. My pear tree struggled in the Texas clay, but he's got a nice low canopy, and then he really took off and has added on another foot of growth. He's about 6.5, almost 7 feet tall right now. I was debating, because of the way that he's sparse right here, I was debating on topping him right here and getting rid of all this extra foliage and focusing on the lower canopy. But he's a young fruit tree, and honestly, since he's had very minimal leaves for the last year, it seems like they come in and they perish, and then they crumple, and then they come back, and so I think that he hasn't had enough photosynthesis to really get a solid root ball down here, which then would fatten up his trunk. So I'm thinking I'm gonna leave him like he is right now, guys, and he'll look a little odd for how he looks, but you know what? At least he's looking healthy again. The new leaves, like the other one, look a lot better than some of the ones that first came in. As you can see, they were fried, and we had a slight freeze, and maybe part of that is what it was. We had a freeze about a month ago, but at the end of the day, all the new growth on this guy looks fantastic. Everything that was older doesn't, and so I'm thinking he's finally getting his feet wet, so to speak, and settled in, and it looks like he's growing pretty well. This guy is getting pretty dang tall. Let me know what you think I should do with him. Should I top him a little bit and promote some growth at a lower canopy than he is, or let him do his thing and maybe top him or trim him once the fall hits? Either way, that's my 3 D'Anjou pears grown from seed, and again, I'm really curious to see how well these guys do this next 6 months. While I have you here, let's talk about the other pear trees I have. I do have a Bartlett pear over here. Apologize for the noise of my pool. I have a Bartlett pear over here. If you recall, this is the one that was really sick. I literally had to chop him in half. He had some kind of bark disease, and all his top foliage died. So I chopped him, and I really thought that was the end of him, but let me just leave him in the ground for a little bit and see what happens. And guys, he has taken off like crazy. He's doing fantastic. Now, he didn't flower this year because since I chopped him off, I didn't have any older branches, so he had no flowering buds. But I believe next year this guy will be finally ready to put on some flowers and maybe produce some fruit. And that's my Bartlett. And you got to remember, for pear quality and variety, you definitely want to cross-pollinate. So having a Bartlett pear here, having a D'Anjou pear coming in over here, and then finally my Orient pear right here. He has been in my yard for this, I think, is going on his 3rd year now. No flowering. I don't know what's going on. He struggled last year. He lost most of his leaves even before the fall hit. But look at this guy. He's got to be 15 feet tall now. And I had chopped the top 4 feet off, and he looks fantastic. This guy is coming in great. So I think with the pear trees in my yard, in my clay, it just takes them some acclimation period to get really adjusted, but his trunk is fat and sturdy. I mean, this guy is doing really well now. I'm really hopeful that this year he'll really settle in. I'll have to trim him in the fall as well, but man, he has really put on some height. So having an Orient pear, a Bartlett pear over there, and a D'Anjou pear across the yard, I think we'll get some pretty good cross-pollination once they all flower. It'll be another couple years at least before these guys flower, I would assume, but you never know. It only took 27 months for my apple trees to flower, and these guys will be right around 30 months come next winter. And so maybe after the winter they will put on some flowers. You never know. All right, guys, we're getting a lot of wind right now. I hope you can hear me okay. I just wanted to give you an update on my pear trees grown from seed. Again, the D'Anjou variety. They're at 21.5 months old. I appreciate you being patient while I postponed all these updates. I'm just trying to get caught up. And to be honest, there's been a lot of things going on. No excuses. I know you guys follow the channel specifically to get updates on the things I grow from seed. This summer, I promise you, I'll stay as on top of the game as possible. I still hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. And as always, everyone, thanks for watching.